Right, I think it's working. Yeah, this is like my 100th time trying to do this video because the first video had sound issues, second video had mic issues, and the video after that was too loud in the background with people shooting, because there was people shooting across here and you couldn't even hear me talk. So hopefully this video is going to be a bit better. Right, so I'm going to do a guide on a Macs, is why I'm doing this video. I will say at the start of the video, I'm not a Macs pro. I don't use Maxes that often. But I've played the game for a long time and I know roughly how Macs works. So I feel like I can give new player advice. I'm currently on the ps4 Ceres server. It's got really busy since the update. Really pleased to be playing on Ceres. It's really awesome. Thanks to everyone for playing constantly, making the game what it is. It's really grateful for that. Coming on every day. I will say straight off the bat, I'm not a pro by any means at the game, but I'm just trying to help new players. I know there's not new players coming into the game now with the update coming out. Maybe they've seen the Bastion or something and they're like, wow, what's that? I want in. So they've started playing. We'll also say that the game is free to play. Just go into the PlayStation Store and you can download it for free, this game, if you've never played it. If you're checking the video out for the first time. And if you're coming back to the game, then, you know, thanks for coming back. Hope you enjoy your stay while you're here. So anyway, talking about Maxes. So Maxes are like heavy infantry. You could say, I guess it's like wearing a suit of armour, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it, but they're like mechanical suits of armour, kind of. So the pros and cons of a Max. I see a lot of people running onto points and dying a ton. I've seen it quite a lot with NC in particular. It appears that not many people know what they're doing. To be good as a Max, you're going to need an engineer. So you're going to need this guy. Now this guy has his engineer tool. He can repair a Max. Excuse me. So yeah, they can repair a Max. And when you right, sorry about that. I had to cough. Just let me put this into outfit chat so I'm not talking around me. Nobody here at the moment. It's pretty dead in here, but it's been a pretty good day today. Anyway, yep, going off subject. This is a video about Maxes. Yep. So to get to a Max, you go to the Max class. Now I probably should have talked about Maxes in my class guide in a bit more detail, but the thing is, I always feel Maxes are very people pick them and don't really know how to use them, and they're not the easiest troop to use, and you die a lot. That's just how it goes in a Max. The NC Max I always feel is a bit underpowered compared to the rest of the Maxes. Now they're not completely useless, I just feel that other factions have better Maxes. I don't feel like the shotguns do a great deal on a Max. So like scatter cannons, for example, I don't feel they're definitely not OP by any means. Now you clicked on this guide because obviously you're thinking about playing Max, so I'm going to go into a bit more detail. So first off, I'm not anything better than the average player really. I don't play Maxes all that much. I probably should play them more really, but the thing is, you bring a Max to a fight and it's game over really for the enemy if you know how to play a Max. And you can get a lot of backlash from it. People say, oh well, you're bringing a Max to a fight, you reckon the fight, you know, it's a good 5 versus 5 and you bring a Max, oh great. So, you know, each to their own really. I just don't bring one just out of, you know, being polite. I was bought you know, I played TNAW, they used to hate Maxes. If you bought a Max to a fight, it was like, oh, you reckon the fight, don't bring a Max with overpop. When you're already overpopping the fight, it's not fair, etc, etc. So I just kind of stayed away from Maxes, and playing the game, playing this game, I I'm not in them anymore in TNAW. TNAW is now Task Force, or most of them have moved. But I just don't play maxes in general after that, really. It's not something I'm into. But anyway, so I'm going to jump straight into it whilst we're talking for ages. So this is, you go into the classes. You've got Medic, Combat Engineer, Heavy Assault. You've got Max at the end. Now maxes require you to have an engineer, which is this guy. This guy will use his engineer tool to repair you, and that gives you repairs. Now there is certain things that will repair you, so like emergency repair. You can get nanite auto repair, but I don't feel these are as good as an engineer. Now I think there's some footage at the end of me playing a max. I'm going to add some footage in, but I've got an engineer with me, I believe. But yeah, you're always going to need an engineer. Okay, don't go running in without one. Don't just rush in all the time, because you're going to die, you're going to get C4'd and killed. NC engineers are more based around shotguns. They're really good. So let's start with that, really. So shotguns. So you just start playing, which shotguns for you? You're probably looking at them thinking they all look the same, which they all kind of do the same job. The hacksaws are more auto shotgun. Now I find the hacksaws very very bad, really. Sometimes, not all the time. If you're trying to shoot something that's far away. So yeah, I find recently I just bought these Matics. That's how you pronounce them. Now these things are really good. They can shoot from medium to long range. Well, not really long range, but medium range. They're really good at medium range. So I'm shooting my own player, but just imagine that was an enemy. They're really good, as you can see. Now using something like this at medium range wouldn't do as much as the Matics. So let's have a look. So as you can see, definitely a big difference. See how I had to reload before I shot him again, and he's still not dead. Well, he died then, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So these are quite good at longish range, or medium range rather. I keep saying longish range. None of these shotguns are good at long range. They're not meant to be a long range weapon. Just try these out real quick. I think these have more ammo in them. Yeah, they got 18 rounds. Now most shotguns are designed for like really close range, and they can one shot. So as you can see, one shot, two shot. They're really good at close range. Now the problem you find with these particular ones, with these particular NC ones, is that you need to get into close combat. Okay, don't go running across a field. Don't go running across a field like this. Okay, in the open, everyone's shooting you. You're going to die. Try and get into cover as much as you can. If you're going into a building, try and go around the long way to get to the building. So for example, if you needed to get over there, now and you had to run across this space and there was enemy there, just take the time and go all the way around. Okay, it might take you a lot longer, but it will stop you from dying if you're going places. This is what I'm saying about the Max. A Max will die easily when it's just left out in the middle of an open field. Okay, you need an engineer with you. You need coordination between you and the engineer. So for example, if you're attacking this place, you edge out, fire a couple of rounds, you get back in cover, and then you get your engineer to repair you. If all else fails, you can use your emergency repair. Now emergency repair is more used when you're nearly dead, a couple of rounds and you're going to die. You pop your emergency repair and then you run off. You run off to an engineer and try and get repaired. Now with that said, ordnance armor. So let's talk a bit about classes really. I'll talk about guns in a bit. There's quite a few guns, but so shotguns are the main what you're going to be using. So scatter cannons are really useful. Let's talk about shotguns and loadouts really. Scatter cannons. Now I know you only get one scatter cannon, but scatter cannons are really useful. They're not terrible. They're okay. Now they are like, you can't hold them down and burst fire. You fire a single shot. They are really good as a starter weapon. So buy another scatter cannon, have 2 scatter cannons, and then you'll be fine. I wouldn't invest into any of these really, because you would have to buy 2 of them. That would cost 2,000 certs. Invest into the 1,000 cert, and then you've got an extra scatter cannon, so that means you can have 2. Now I'm just going to get out of here because there's people shooting, and talking while I'm shooting is going to be annoying. But anyway, another thing I see people doing is not just dying a lot, but mixing up. So you might get a guy with a scatter cannon and a mattock. Now this makes no sense. They don't do that. I see people do random stuff like this. Falcon, scatter cannon. Okay, don't do this. Okay, you might have something to kill a vehicle, but you're better when it's 2 either side. So if you're an anti-vehicle, for example, put 2 falcons on. I'll go more into that in a minute. But if you're just playing a max, just start playing a max. The falcons, the scatter cannon's really good. So say you pick the scatter cannons. Okay, you decide to use them as your primers. Now you're looking at these. Now this, I've never been able to use it. I'm guessing at some stage there was a utility slot there and something was added. But since I've played PlanetSide, they've never done anything with it. Don't know why it's there. They probably should take it out, but I don't know. One thing I always found useful was emergency repair. So Aegis shield, emergency repair, and ammo storage. Now I never buy ammo storage. Don't need it. An engineer can give you ammo. So an engineer, just let me pick, can chuck an ammo pack down. This enables you to refill your ammo. So let's go back to the max. So here, emergency repair, very useful. Probably the most useful thing you will ever use as a max. You won't need ammo storage. You should be able to get ammo from an engineer. Aegis shield is also very useful, but emergency repair more useful than anything. Aegis shield is useful. There's another max there. You see how he's got. Now if you look at his arms, he's got one random thing on one end, one random thing on the other. Don't do that. That's not good. So anyway, going back to the Aegis shield, I'm going over here because he fires and makes a noise. So as you can see, the shield there, very useful. Now you would be using this shield as a way to stop incoming rounds. It also stops C4, so if someone chucks C4 in front of you, you can mitigate some of the damage of it. Now, going down, so you've got Aegis shield. Aegis shield is really useful when you've got an engineer with you. So if you're going in a room, pop this, walk forward, have the engineer with you, repairing you. You can take a bit of damage. You can take obviously less damage than you would if you didn't have the shield up. But I always find emergency repair is good, especially for NC. You don't always have an engineer. So what I tend to do is go into combat, shoot a few people, run off, emergency repair myself to repair myself, literally. But the thing is, you generally need an engineer. So teamwork, engineer is good. So this, probably the most useful thing, always try and max this first. I wouldn't try and max Aegis shield. The reason being is, if you've got Aegis shield and you've got no way to repair yourself. So you've got ordnance armor. Okay, you're going to need ordnance armor. You can't have nano water repair. You're just going to die to explosives. So you're going to need a way to repair yourself. So emergency repair. So very useful. So ordnance. So going back to this slot here. So you've picked emergency repair. You've maxed it. You could put a few points into Aegis Shield. It is useful. Someone drops C4 in front of you. But emergency repair is, I find, more useful. Ordnance armor, no, so these. Now, kinetic armor, don't use it. The reason being is it reduces small arms, which is great. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to get people throwing C4 at you. There's always that one guy who's friggin' jumping around with C4 in his pocket. He's just waiting for you to pick a max. He's like, this guy any second now, he's going to pick a max. And he's waiting around for any max to come along and he's going to C4. Now, Ordnance armor doesn't 100% guarantee that you won't get killed by C4. Because if there's more than 2 blocks of C4, you're going to die. But it gives you a slight chance to survive. If you get blown up by 2 sticks of C4, you can try an emergency repair and run off. Which is good. So Ordnance armor, get that to max. Very useful. So yeah, Ordnance armor and scatter cannons are a good mix, really. So let's have a look. So I go over here. I'm going to go over here, actually, out the way of everybody. I shouldn't have come into VR, but VR is very useful for showing you stuff. So you've got to realise that shotguns are very close range. Don't start using them at long range. So as you can see, it one-shots. Now, if I was to stand over here and shoot the same target, it doesn't one-shot. Okay, 2 shots. Just stand further away. You see what I mean? So yeah, you get the gist of it. Now, scatter cannons are really good. They're really good at medium range. But maybe you're looking at something like the Matics, which are very good at medium range. Now, these are really good. So, just depends what shotgun you want. Generally, I would pick the Matics. They're really good at the moment. Scatter cannons are good as a first weapon for maxes. Now, say you didn't want to cert into the Matic, because that would mean you'd have to spend 2k instead of 1,000. You could just buy the scatter cannon. And you've already got a scatter cannon, so that makes 2 scatter cannons, and that makes it fine. It really does. Hacksaws, I've used them quite a lot. I don't find them that great. I did use them the other day just to test them out, but I don't know. So the grinders, as I say, they're just more ammo. They're shotguns with more ammo, really. They are pretty good. If more ammo is your thing, I mean, it saves you from reloading. But generally, I'll duck into cover, reload, go back. Duck into cover, reload, go back, and repeat. Scatter cannons I've used ever since the dawn of time, really. They were the first ever shotguns I got. Very useful. So yeah, with shotguns you always want to try and get close range. So I'll go over here and I'll show you some little tricks. So with maxes, you're not trying to stand in the middle here. You edge around the corner. You edge around the corner like that, shooting everybody. You're edging back, you're getting repaired. What they'll do is, with shotguns, well, what you want to be doing with shotguns is you want to stand as close to the doorway as you can. Okay, you don't want to be stood away from the doorway. Now yes, they're going to chuck C4 at you. But if this is a room, you're going in, you're shooting people at medium to close range. Okay, you're not standing away from the doorway trying to snipe people in the head. Now let's talk about weapons. So this thing right here, the Matic, is useful for medium range. But say shotguns aren't your thing, there's so much more you can, well, there's other things you can pick really, if shotguns aren't your thing. But generally an NC Max runs around shotguns. They pride themselves on shotguns. Now somebody said years ago they did get nerfed or whenever, and they're not as good, they're completely useless. I kind of agree that I don't use shotguns as much as probably I should. Well, I don't use maxes as much as I should really. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I try shotguns out, I do like them. Like the other day I was using the Matics. Very useful at medium range, I was doing really well with them. But I just don't use shotguns in general. I tend to use them more for the utility slots. So like Burster Max, like Falcon Max. So Falcons, I'll talk about these. We'll talk about weapons. I'll talk about each weapon really. So shotguns, you've already talked about them. In the second slot, you've got these Falcons, Ravens, Gorgons. So Gorgons are like machine guns. Now any Max can have these type of machine guns. Falcons are NC only, I think. Yeah, NC only. So with Falcons are really useful. Now you can dome people in the head with these. So if dome people in the head means kill people by using headshots. So you can see medium range. I can hit people in the head.
Enemy engineer in the area.
And I can one-shot them. Now you've got to bear in mind that people are going to be zipping in and out. They're going to be running around. They're going to be doing the, they're going to be doing the moonwalk. Whatever they're doing to try and stop you from shooting them. Now it's going to be a lot harder than me just shooting at a bot. But generally, you can one-shot. So yeah, you can one-shot medium range, and these also do very well versus vehicles. So if I just go over here real quick. So yeah, I tend to pick these over anything else. I tend to pick these over shotguns, normally. So as you can see, they're just beautiful. Now as you say, I'm aiming at bots. But they do vehicles, good damage to vehicles. Now, you've seen them, showing you a bit about them. There's not really much else to talk about. Now these are also anti-vehicle, but these are more accurate at longer ranges. Well, I mean they're both pretty accurate really, but as you can see, I mean they also sound really cool, I guess. But with these, a little trick is to fire over something and then down. So if there's something in the way, you can fire up in the air and then down on something. That's also a neat little trick. So for example, like this. Oh, don't know what's going on there. But let's go over here a sec. So as you can see, I'm not actually in line of sight of the vehicle, but I'm still able to hit him, which is really useful. So like, oh, that didn't hit, but you get the idea. These are useful versus airplanes as well, but they don't do a ton of damage to aircraft. They're more for vehicles, really. They do nothing to infantry, really. Well, they do hit infantry, but I wouldn't say they're amazing. If you're going to go infantry-wise, I'd go for these Falcons. They're just a lot better, I feel. Especially close to medium range. Ravens, good for like the accuracy is good on them. They are guided, so you have to guide them in. And the con about this really is that you're guiding them in, so you're stood in the middle of like wherever you are, trying to kill something, and they shoot like literally they will shoot you back. So you stood here like this, and if it's a tank, the tank will shoot at you. Whereas these, you can like shoot them and run off. So let me just show you. So you can, like, if you was aiming for something, see what I mean? You're not stood there trying to guide them in. You can duck behind things and so on. That's my take on it anyway. The next one's are Gorgons. I don't find these all that useful. I have used them. They do shoot vehicles and do shoot air. So yeah, they shoot air, shoot vehicles, and they do shoot infantry. Now I see them more as a close to medium range. So yeah, that's really it. There's nothing more to say about them. They are pretty, I'd say, lackluster really. At longish range they take a lot, and they don't do a ton of damage. Another thing as well I'll also say is you can buy upgrades for them and an extended magazine. I bought the extended magazine on them, but the extended magazine doesn't work on both of them. You can't work on both. This is because you have to have membership, I believe, to enable for you to get to. He started shooting as well. I'm just going to go over here out his way, just so I'm not, because I can't talk over him. So yeah, Gorgons really are not the best at long range. They're not terrible, but I just don't use them at long range. I see them more as a mid to close range type of thing. So anyway, so yeah, I think that about covers it really. The Burster Max is as it says. This is for planes. Now, loadout wise, you're going to change the loadouts depending on what. So for Burster Max, I always have ordnance armor. So this is. So I'll show you what a Burster Max does. If you've never played one. So as you can see, now you can kill infantry with this, and it's not actually too bad if you get close range. Let me just get close range a second. I've seen people kill me. Now I'm trying to find. See how it's not as bad as it could be. Now obviously pretend they were enemy. I know they're friendly, but still. I'm gonna go over here, just so I'm out of the way of him. But yeah, these are Burster Maxes. So they call them Burster Max because they're using burster cannons. Now they take down air. So any air targets you come across. Now, as I say for Burster Maxes, I still use ordnance armor, and I'll still use emergency repair. I don't use Aegis shield. Now I have seen people use say Gorgons, 2 Gorgons, right, and then I've seen them use Aegis shield. Now this is at range. So for example, you're shooting somebody at range, you go to reload. As you reload, you smack this up, right, to protect you. Then you go back to this. You start firing, you go to reload, you stick the shield up while you're reloading, and you're back in the fight. Now yes, that's good. It's a good way of doing it. But this Aegis shield is only going to work if you have an engineer present. So really, you need to have engineer. Most of the time on NC, you're not going to get an engineer. They won't follow you around. It can be very difficult unless you know somebody who's an engineer and ask them for assistance. So yeah. So right, I've talked a bit about the Max. Really, there's nothing else really to say. They're not amazing. With stuff like this, for example, you don't want to be. So this is a good. So with shotguns, say this is a room here, a big room. You're in the doorway here. With shotguns, you want to get as close as you can. You come in, you shoot them a couple of times. Bang, bang, you shoot.
Reloading.
Now over here, for example, you want to take a wide stance. Now these are medium to long range. Well, not long range, but they are good at medium range. So don't feel the need to get close with these. So, like this. Now, if you've got a pocket engineer, I'm trying to get out of the way of this guy. I wish he'd go away, but honestly. But yeah, with these, you want to stand at medium range. So when you're... He's following me. Link him to my video when I've finished. But yeah, with these, you don't want to be close. you want to be medium range. Say hello to him. So you want to be medium range like this. So you're coming round and you're shooting him like this instead of getting close. Now with these, you can stand at distance and it can stop you from getting C4'd. So if you're quite a distance away from the enemy, say they're coming through that doorway there, start laying down fire, and it's really good. It's really good for doing that. So yeah, there's not really much else to talk about with these, but that you can keep a distance from the enemy, which is good. Unlike the shotguns where you have to get close. I think that's all there is to talk about. There's not much in terms of like much more to talk about. I would never use kinetic armor. I just don't find it useful. Nanite auto repair. I used to use nanite auto repair when I was using some bursters. Just because you get hit by a plane flies over, does a bit of damage to you. You take chip damage, and you nanite auto repair, and you're back in it. You go inside the base, you nanite auto repair while out of combat, and then you come back. But I always got owned by air. This was air firing rockets, so I started using ordnance armor. Now Aegis shield, again, you're going to need a pocket engineer, so you know I've already talked about that. But yeah, I wouldn't say Aegis shield is completely useless. It does stop or mitigate damage, like explosive damage that's thrown at you or fired at you, like rockets, example. But yeah, so yeah, there's not much else to talk about. These stuff here are guns that you can purchase. So for example, that guy here is wearing 2 guns with a nice paint job. But I wouldn't buy guns, or these particular guns. Wouldn't buy them, or this gun here. I would just pay the 1,000 and get them if you're into that. But the best thing as a new player is to unlock the scat cannon or the falcon. Very useful. Now you want 2 either side, okay? You're not John Rambo, okay? You're not trying to go in and clear the room. You're not taking on vehicles and, you know, everything at the same time. Just to end the video, I'm just going to talk briefly about implants. Now, implants are really for a second video. I'm going to move over here so I'm not annoying this chap. So, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because he keeps following me. I'm going to go back into Hossen and just briefly talk about. So I'm trying to get out of the way of this chap because he keeps firing and I have to talk over him. So yeah. So implants are something that you get or can get for your character. They give different abilities depending on what implant you have. Some implants are character specific, so some of them are engineer only, some of them are medic only, and some of them are max only. Now the max only ones are the ones you want to be looking at. So 42 minutes left. Okay, got 42 minutes to end the video. No, anyway, yeah, so max, here you go. So as you can see, there's my max. It's got a white paint job, so it doesn't blind me. So yeah, 2 falcons is what I was using last time, I think. But anyway, so here you got target focus. So these are all the implants that you can use on a max. So you got salvage, ocular shield, etc. Now you're probably thinking, well, which one do I use? Now ammo printer is useful on a max when you haven't got a. So let me go to a max and go right across. So this is my burster max, or what I was using for a burster max. So this burster max has this on it, which is ammo printer. Now ammo printer is useful for giving you ammo. Obviously as a burster max you're going to be shooting at planes. Now you're going to run out of ammo fast as a burster max, just because you're shooting planes constantly. But you really need an engineer with you. But if you're struggling as an engineer, you're going to need this implant, ammo printer. Now another implant I've been using is a rare implant called counterintelligence. Now I mean, you don't need that really. You could use something else. This is also a rare implant that is max only. This isn't max only, but disengages. I don't find disengage very useful. I do use it, but it's not great. It's not terribly. It's not terrible, but it's not great at the same time. One thing you could use is target focus, because it displays the health bar of the person. So health bar of a unit. So for example, if a plane's flying over, you can select it or you can spot it, and it will also tell you the health. So if there's a few planes around the area, you can spot them and you can check which one has the lowest health and focus that out of the three. Say there's 3 of them. Now these loads of implants here, most of them aren't that great, I'll be honest. They don't give you a massive advantage. But for stuff like, so for example, I was using the Matix the other day. I was using this, salvage. Now I've only got salvage to level 4, but it's really, really good. So killing a max restores 800 health. So, at max upgrade, killing a max unit will restore 800 health, and killing a max within 5 meters of you will restore an additional 200 health. So yeah, you get some health back. I didn't upgrade it I haven't upgraded it really to max because I don't play a max that much, and it's a max only implant, so pretty useless to me really, considering I only play maxes every so often. Now as you can see here, I've got Safe Fall and a few others, but really salvage is the one you want to be looking at. Salvage and ammo printer is really good. Sweeper hood is very good. So so for example, on my thingy here, I use sweeper hood. Now this is because so let me select it real quick. So here, when I'm taking a wide stance on a room like this, I'm going in, I'm taking a wide stance. Okay, I'm checking to see where everybody is in the room before I go in. So I'm going in like this, and what I'm checking for explosives. Now yes, people are going to chuck explosives through the door and try and take me out, but here I'm checking for explosives. Okay, because I'll have kinetic armor. So kinetic armor, I'll have that. I'll be taking rounds will be coming at me, but I'm checking for explosives because I don't want explosives to kill me. Now kinetic armor isn't that great anyway. I prefer ordnance armor really, but it's just really useful to see mines. If anyone's took C4 down and wait for you to come in, you can see them. Really useful. There's not much else to talk about in terms of implants. Cold Heart is a rare implant again. Doesn't even really concern maxes. Ocular Shield is very useful if you keep getting stun grenade or flash banged. That's really useful. But we don't get that too much on Ceres. I can imagine a lot of the busiest servers could get flash banged and concussion grenaded quite a lot, but it doesn't happen so much. So yeah, ammo print is really useful if you use a ton of ammo, like for example on a burster max. With this, I shoot maxes, so salvage is really useful. Obviously for seeing sweeper hood is useful, because sweeper hood is mainly a vehicle thing. You will use it just for vehicles, but you can also use it on a max, and it can be really useful, especially if they're chucking mines down, because you have to bear in mind that tank mines will kill a max. So yeah, so I think that's it really. I've talked about everything. There's nothing else to talk about. These are just general armors you can get. This particular one I got free. You can buy this particular composite armor from this. Alright, so we're actually doing really well. Oh, it's because they're fighting each other, that's why. Ah, they're in the let's see where they are. They're in the BILA, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so Sentry, if you go to Sentry, so this here, composite armor. Go to Sentry. You want to buy it with merit points. I think it's about 1,200 merit points. If you want to make your max look a bit better, I always think this one looks like he's got a heater on his back. Looks like a fire there, like a keep your team warm while you're on Esamir, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I think that's all I've got to talk about. So yeah, any questions, leave them down below. Don't subscribe to me or anything like that. I'm not looking for subscribers. If you have any questions, pop them down. If you see me in game, obviously my name is Commando. If you look in the corner there, Commando with 2 O's. Feel free to drop me a message or private message and say hello. Or ask me a question if you want. And yep, that's it guys, I'll see you soon. So as you can see here, there's a max crash going on from Warg outfit. Now Warg is an organised NC outfit. They don't come on very often. It was a Warg Ops night. Now I didn't get a chance to film the whole thing because they booted me out the galaxy. It doesn't really matter. The point being is that max crashes do happen. They're not a common thing, but all it involves is just everybody in the outfit picking max, going to a point and max crashing. It is good to see, but as I say, as a new player, you don't get them very often. You won't see them, but they are out there and do happen. Organised outfits do them. As you can see, Galaxy pulls up. They all get in, and that's it. That's really it. There's no more footage, but yep, just throwing that out there, just for new players. So they're called max crashes, and they do happen. All right. So here's some footage. There's some footage of me doing max. I haven't got much of it, but here it is. So yep, enjoy.
You're good at 1 minute. Downrange 1 mile, altitude 3, 4 miles now.
Fly to the motherfucker, come on, get a trip on my rocks so big. Don't mind what I'm about to do, I'm testing my spaceship. Testing my spaceship.
That's a compliment. I don't know if they dropped it on me or they were dropping it on them. Probably on them, really. So yeah, they're not doing too well. This guy is like level 200 and he's showing all that campaign. He gets left in and trying to drop people. Cheers bro, thank you. Oh no, look at this man. By the way, this is going on YouTube. Just play this for anything random. Well, not that you would really.
20 seconds and counting.
Put it on YouTube because I'm going to...
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal.
I'm doing
12,
a max...
11, 10,
I'm doing a max
9. Ignition sequence start.
Fly to the motherfucker, come on, get a trip on my rocks so big. Don't mind what I'm about to do, I'm testing my spaceship. Hey, fly to the motherfucker, come on, get a trip on my rocks so big. Don't mind what I'm about to do, I'm testing my spaceship. Jack.
PR is sneaking up on him.
Yep.
Sorry, I killed the 7